So, you're in your early 20s. Or perhaps you're watching on behalf of someone who is. And a question lingers in the air, subtle, persistent, maybe even haunting. Is it too early to get married? Or could this be the right time? In a world full of voices, family, culture, friends, algorithms, each seems to carry its own answer. A father might say, "You're too young. Life hasn't happened to you yet." A grandmother smiles gently and says, "We married at 21. We made it." Social media whispers, "There's time. Explore. Don't settle." Then someone from high school shares their wedding photos. And suddenly, everything feels very real. So let's slow down, breathe, and reflect. In this chapter, we look not for rules, but for understanding. We seek not judgment, but insight. Let's explore what it really means to marry young, in all its beauty, its heartbreak, its potential, and its risk. The emotional landscape of your early 20s. There's a certain wildness to your early 20s. A rawness. It's the season when life first whispers, "You are no longer a child." Everything feels new. Everything feels big. Love, when it arrives, doesn't knock. It floods. At this age, you're not just discovering other people. You're discovering yourself. What you believe. What you fear. What you crave. What you will not accept. And that makes love electric. But it also makes commitment complex. Pro, you can grow together. One of the greatest hopes of marrying young is this. You get to grow together. Like two saplings, planted close to each other in the same soil, bending toward the same light. Neither of you is hardened yet. You're both still pliable. Still becoming. Still building. And for many, this becomes the foundation for something extraordinary. A shared life, forged not from convenience, but from courage. The romance isn't just in the wedding. It's in the becoming, together. Con, your brain is still growing. But the science tells us something else. Something quieter, more clinical. But no less important. The human brain doesn't finish developing until around 25. Specifically, the prefrontal cortex, that region of logic, planning, risk evaluation, and emotional regulation, is still forming. So if you're 21, you're making a life-defining decision with a mind still under construction. That's not a flaw. That's biology. And it means the person you are now may not be the person you become. What seems right today may feel foreign tomorrow. Not because of failure, but because of growth. Psychology, Erikson's mirror. The psychologist Erik Erikson spoke of human life in stages. And your early 20s, he called it intimacy versus isolation. It's the crossroads where we begin to share ourselves, or retreat into solitude. But here's the tension. If you haven't fully met yourself, how can you offer yourself to someone else? Sometimes, marriage in this phase isn't a celebration of self. It's a substitute for it. We fear loneliness, so we reach for union. We crave direction, so we claim commitment. But beneath the vows, there may lie a question unanswered. Who am I alone? Pro, more time together. Let's take the long view. Marry at 22, live to 82, that's 60 years. 60 autumns. 60 summers. 60 shared calendars of birthdays and bills, grief and joy. You don't just witness each other's lives. You build them, together. Every job change, every move, every child, every failure, every reinvention. You hold each other through it all. That kind of history can't be replicated at 35. Or 40. It's born in youth, and tempered by time. Con, the data tells a different story. But then, the numbers arrive. And they speak plainly. Those who marry before 25 are, statistically, more likely to divorce than those who wait. The reasons are many. Maturity, money, expectations, unformed values, unspoken truths. When the honeymoon ends, and it always does, many young couples look at each other and think, we grew. Just not in the same direction. Not every early marriage ends this way. But enough do, to warrant caution. Psychology, attachment theory. Beneath every I do, There is a childhood echo. Psychologists call it attachment style. Formed early, refined in adolescence, revealed in adulthood, it shapes how we love. Some of us crave closeness. Some of us fear it. Some of us run. Others cling. And in your early 20s, you may not yet see those patterns. You might think it's love, when it's actually fear. You might think it's chemistry, when it's actually repetition. And sometimes, we choose not what heals us, but what feels familiar. Pro. You escape the dating gauntlet. Modern dating is not for the faint of heart. The swiping, the ghosting, the shallow promises, the unspoken games. And for some, marrying early is not naivety, it's wisdom. They avoid the weariness of 10 years in the dating trenches. They choose depth over novelty, commitment over chaos. And in a world that often confuses attention with affection, that's a bold, even radical choice. Con. You may miss the chance to become. But your 20s. They are sacred. They are your one window to try, to fail, to leap, to wander. To live in a studio apartment with peeling paint. To backpack. To start a band. To change careers. To chase a wild idea at 2 a.m. and see where it leads. When marriage arrives too soon, that window narrows. Suddenly, you choose safety over growth. Routine over risk. And slowly, quietly, you forget how to dream alone. Psychology. Are you emotionally ready? There is a difference between saying, I choose you, and I need you. Between, we're good together, and I'm nothing without you. Emotional readiness means you can hold conflict without fleeing. You can stay present through discomfort. You can love without losing yourself. Many in their early 20s make commitments with the head, but not yet the heart. Not because they don't care, but because they haven't yet learned what real care requires. Pro. Less baggage. One blessing of youth. You haven't been broken as many times. You're not jaded yet. Not haunted by past betrayals. Not weary from years of compromise. If your partner is equally unscarred, the two of you get to write your story on clean pages. No need to unlearn. Just to learn, together. Con. Fear can masquerade as love. But sometimes, early marriage is not about love. It's about fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of judgment. Fear of who you might become, without someone beside you to define you. Culture, religion, family, they all have their narratives. Some loud, some quiet, all powerful. And it's easy to mistake obligation for destiny. Psychology. Meaning versus codependence. As psychologist Jordan Peterson reminds us, humans seek meaning more than happiness. And marriage, at its best, can provide that meaning. But if it becomes your only meaning, then what you've built is not a partnership, but a dependency. Real marriage is two whole people, choosing interdependence. Not one half, clinging to another. Pro. If it works, it's magic. And yet, when early marriage works, when it's based in love, in truth, in mutual growth, it is something to behold.